So 9/11 was an inside job, and it was actually predicted the summer right before September 11th by one guy, and it's alarming. I got the video right here, going to show it to you. It's time to wake up to the absurd. Let's get into it. All right, we're talking about the #1 canceled guy on the planet. We're talking about a video that came out in the summer. He detailed in great detail everything that's going to happen, and then he literally predicted it. Now, we have so much stuff coming out in the media right now about the FBI, about the CIA, about the federal government, about inside job, about paid protesters. But this is literally the worst. They flew planes into the World Trade Center, and he said it was going to happen. He said it was going to happen months ago, and it happened. This is a guy that then got canceled on Twitter, canceled on, well, what is now X, canceled on Twitter, canceled on YouTube, canceled just about everywhere. He was sued. They probably tried to assassinate him, and it's all right here. Let's watch the tape and just hear what he says when he says what's going to happen with regards to one of the worst terrorist attacks in the United States conducted by our own country.
You can't call 9/11 in detail because you're super informed.
Before the fact.
He called it.
Yes.
He literally called it in the summer of 2001. He said planes will fly into the World Trade Centers and they will blame a man called Osama bin Laden.
We know the government's planning terrorism. We know Oklahoma City and World Trade Center was terrorism. We know the Joint Chiefs of Staff wanted to blow up airliners. If you do it, we're going to blame you because we know who's up to it. Or if you let some terrorist group do it, like the World Trade Center, we know who to blame. If any terrorism comes, it's from this government. And if there was an outside threat like a 𝗦𝗡𝗕𝗏, it was a known CIA asset in the 80s.
Hear that? A known CIA asset in the 80s. This guy was paid and funded on a war against Russia in Afghanistan, and his entire family, who happens to be rich, was committing, all kinds of atrocities, and it's just nuts.
Running the Mujahideen war, and whose family builds all the military bases over in Saudi Arabia right now, and sits on the board of Iridium Satellite. He's the boogeyman they need. This Orwellian phony system.
We know that he said that because he said it on tape.
Yeah.
Multiple times. And then he said, call the White House and tell them this.
Now I'm going to put the call out that you call the White House and tell them, look, we've seen the news stories that you wanted to blow things up, that you had blown things up, and that we're aware of who the terrorists are if you pull this. This can stop the 𝗙𝗢𝗟 event.
Alex Jones has been spot on just about every conspiracy. And what's the difference? As I always say, the difference between a conspiracy and facts, it's usually about 6 months. Everything seems to be coming true. I think we're 35-0 on conspiracies, and this is what's happening now. The reality is that no one's going to wake up to this. So many people are asleep to the fact that our own federal government is literally murdering people and creating chaos, kind of like they are today, but they were doing it back in 9/11 for the same agenda, to fight some war that's so unnecessary. And who came and cleaned it? We spent $5 trillion of taxpayer dollars. What do we got? We still have ISIS. We still have terrorism. We are terrorism. We're funding both sides. We still have the same people in office, and nothing has changed, and everyone is still awake. And if you try and wake up the masses, Mark Zuckerberg shuts you down. Jack Doherty shuts you down. Thank God now we have Elon Musk, but can they shut him down? Probably. Can they shut down Rumble? Probably. If you look at what Tulsi Gabbard says on Joe Rogan, she says absolutely. Like, they could pretty much do anything they want. And this is the state that we're in. We're in complete absurd chaos political environment, and it's worse than it's ever been with everything regarding every part of our life. But this, if you just wake up to the fact that our own government, our own CIA, and there's other videos that I have on this channel, and you can check them out, about the FBI admitting that they were messing with, about the CIA committing treason. This guy's literally admitting to treason. This is where we're at. And yet, he's sitting at 46% in the polls. A guy that can't walk, can't talk. He's a bumbling fool. The vice president is a dumber than dumb. And there's even another video about his economic guy that I'm coming out with next. So stay tuned and like and subscribe to this channel. This guy doesn't even know how economics works. And he's the advisor, the economic advisor to Joe Biden. He doesn't even know about printing money and how it works. So when you wrap your head around this and you realize what our government is capable, and you realize what they're doing, from the subversion, from the control, from the FISA, from the controlling the media, owning the media, We are in unprecedented times with regards to the absurdity of politics. Guys, that's all I got for you. If you want to see that whole video, Joe Rogan's got it on his podcast. Make sure you follow Tucker on X, and we'll see you guys on another video, and hopefully you guys will be awake. Hopefully. Aloha.